Something else that you write about in the book is that people are far more convinced by our life than by our brains. And this is something that we have picked up on as a ministry. We've talked about the fact that not only does truth matter, but life matters as well. From what Paul said to Timothy, watch your life and doctrine closely, persevere in them. Because if you do, you'll save both yourself and your hearers.
Yeah, so what can happen sometimes is we pit these against each other. You see these people that are just so filled with love, yet love looks like accepting everything and not discerning anything. And then you'll have others in the camp where it's as if, boy, they're really sharp, they're great erudites, they're able to use their mind, they're able to discern, but they can cut through truth, but guess what? They can cut through you as well. And it's important for us to bring truth and love together. They're friends, and they belong together, and we need to keep them together and not pit them against each other.
We're talking to Bobby Conway again. He's the author of The Fifth Gospel. This is the resource that we want to put into your hands as our expression of thanks for you standing with us shoulder to shoulder in the battle for life and truth. Again, The Fifth Gospel available when you write me at Post Office Box 8500, Charlotte, North Carolina, zip code 28271. When you contact us on the web, equip.org, or when you call our resource consultants, they are standing by 888-7000 and the letters CRI. Counting the cost, one of the chapters in your book, you point out that failing to count the cost will lead to compromise, complacency, or maybe just plain old caving in.
The late Bishop J.C. Ryle said something to the like of this. You know, the worst thing we can do for disciples is fail to let them know what they're taking in hand. We need to let people know what they're taking in hand. Jesus would preach and people would walk away because the cost was too high. And then he looked at his disciples that were left and said, "Do you want to go as well? Where else are we to go, Lord?" And so it's important for us because there'll come a point in our Christian walk where God will ask something of us. And if we don't determine ahead of time that He's worth it all, we'll hold on tightly and won't live a yielded, fully surrendered life.
Part of that is not embracing false gospels. And as you point out in the book, you cannot serve two masters. There's a false gospel of consumerism afoot.
There sure is. And I think that we have to be careful to use the phrase Malcolm Muggeridge once said, that we're not licking at the earth. And so many people we're just trying to consume. You know, as it's been said before, you never see a hearse pulling a U-Haul. And we need to store up our treasures in heaven. And we have a lot of preaching going on today that's promising prosperity as a means of using God basically to get material gain. God may give people material possessions, but He also may ask, like the rich young ruler, to go sell all that you have, then come follow me.
I want you to end the broadcast today by talking about the joy of being a fifth gospel Christian in contrast to what C.S. Lewis described as half-hearted creatures fooling around with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered us, kind of like a child making mud pies in a slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at sea. In other words, we are far too easily satisfied and pleased.
You know, C.S. Lewis also talked about this idea that we talk about what we delight in. You know, we delight in a beautiful sunset, so we talk about it. We delight in a good tasting meal, and we talk about it. We delight in that sports game that we enjoyed, and we talk about it. Perhaps one of the reasons, Hank, that we're not telling others about Jesus and talking about Jesus, could it be because we're not delighting in God?